Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about 2021's top 10 tech innovations. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. After a year full of uncertainties, with COVID-19 taking center stage, eyes are turning to new opportunities in emerging technologies, and innovations that are reshaping the world. In its Foresight 2021 report, research and advisory firm Lux Research examines the top tech innovations that will have the greatest impact over the next decade. The report includes a list of the top emerging technologies to watch next year, which could be key in a post-pandemic world. As tech ecosystems mature around the world, they're not always following the path laid down by Silicon Valley. Another thing that is clear is that today's most important tech trends will play a big part in helping us cope with and adapt to the many challenges facing us. From the shift to working from home to new rules about how we meet and interact in public spaces, tech trends will be the driving force in managing the change. The technologies were chosen based on innovation interest scores. Number 10. Autonomous vehicles. Increased levels of vehicle automation continue to be on the horizon, with expectations that the need for drivers in both consumer and commercial vehicles will eventually be removed. Improvements in safety and efficiency are happening at all levels of vehicle automation, benefiting both consumer vehicles and commercial applications, says the report. For those interested in this technology, Lux suggests tapping into emerging opportunities in areas like sensors and connectivity for autonomous vehicles, while also planning for the impact on mobility businesses more broadly. Number 9. Natural language processing. Tools and techniques used to process, analyze, and generate text are another emerging technology to watch in 2021. This includes areas like voice assistants, machine translation, and chatbots. According to Lux, natural language processing patents have had a 44% compound annual growth rate over the past 5 years, now reaching more than 3,000 publications annually. Due to advances in machine learning and specifically deep learning, natural language processing is rapidly reaching human performance in a variety of pattern recognition tasks, said Lux. However, the technology is still far away from human-level comprehension and understanding of text, and must often be combined with other AI tools like computer vision to process multimodal data. Number 8. Plastic recycling. Another trend that Lux analysts will be watching next year are innovations that can convert plastic waste into a variety of valuable products, enabling a circular economy and avoiding pollution. Concerns about plastic waste from consumers and regulators have only grown, and major consumer product companies from food to apparel have made commitments to increase recycling rates and usage of recycled content, says the report. Innovations that can convert waste into higher value products are in high demand to meet the challenge. Number 7. AI-enabled sensors. Lux data shows companies developing or using AI-enabled sensors have raised more than $1.8 billion. Sensors of all kinds now can provide more impactful insights, when coupled with machine learning and AI, reads the report. Recent advancements in machine learning capabilities enable developers and operators to extract more value out of sensors. This is an opportunity to create new products and improve internal processes by generating deeper insights off existing hardware. Number 6. Bioinformatics. The largest use of bioinformatics is currently in pharmaceutical discovery, but new and far-reaching opportunities, including risk assessment, safety, personalization, diagnostics and traceability, are making bioinformatics impactful across multiple industries, including food and agriculture, according to Lux. Looking specifically at health and pharma, which have been critical topics in 2020 due to the pandemic, Lux says bioinformatics has become a critical component in the early stages of drug discovery, particularly in target discovery. As the pharmaceutical and biotech industry increasingly shifts towards biological treatments, bioinformatics will play a larger role throughout the development process, says Lux's most recent research on the topic. Number 5. Green hydrogen. With the increased phase-out of internal combustion engine vehicles, interest in hydrogen fuel cells has increased. For Lux they remain an unfulfilled dream, but analysts at the research firm still believe green hydrogen can help clean up otherwise hard to decarbonize industrial processes. Green hydrogen produced from renewable electricity can enable storage and transportation of clean electricity for a more robust and flexible energy transition, analysts say in the report. According to Lux data, there have been more than 10,000 patent publications in water electrolysis for green hydrogen over the past decade, rising at a 14% compound annual growth rate. Number 4. Edtech is here to stay. The education technology industry was already on the rise, but COVID-19 lockdowns has accelerated its adoption. Even after the pandemic recedes, and the logistical necessity of remote education fades, Edtech is here to stay. As the world hunkered down in various stages of COVID-19 lockdown this spring, the scramble to arrange distance learning for children began. For families that could afford reliable internet and mobile devices, a propped-up tablet and Zoom became the go-to solution for teachers, attempting to bridge the gap between a physical classroom and a fully online education. For the majority of children, though, it meant low-tech solutions, WhatsApp classrooms and radio lectures. EdTech companies reading the room saw the pandemic as the perfect opportunity to scale. The market was already valued at $5.9 trillion, and in countries like India and China, the cultural reverence for after-school programming had created a demand for at-home learning even before the pandemic. The COVID-19 lockdowns accelerated the trend in both. In Western markets such as the US, where EdTech's growth had been stable, but relatively flat, adoption has been directly proportional to stay-at-home orders. But even after the pandemic has faded, and with it the necessity of remote education, EdTech will be here to stay. Consumers have dipped their toe in a burgeoning technology. One Indian firm hired as many as 250 remote teachers in a single day to meet demand. Number 3. The 5G war accelerates. 5G could be the backbone of futuristic gadgets like self-driving cars, but before that can happen, the world must decide who will control it. Despite what your mobile carrier may say in its advertising, 5G has yet to arrive in much of the world. Eventually, the new cellular standard is expected to bring data speeds up to 100 times faster than its predecessor, 4G, allowing users to download, say, an entire television series in a few seconds. But before we reap the benefits of a widespread 5G network, there's the small matter of who will control it. Chinese tech giant Huawei is currently the dominant manufacturer of 5G equipment globally. The US worries that presents a national security risk, and it has successfully pressured some of its allies to boycott Huawei. The escalating tug-of-war between the two nations won't go away in 2021, and could further fracture the global internet into multiple separate, unconnected networks. But it won't be all about the US and China. Switzerland and South Korea already have some of the fastest 5G networks worldwide. It's still unclear who will dominate the 5G revolution, and take advantage of any subsequent economic benefits. In the meantime, the political power struggle over the technology will likely intensify. Number 2. Access is soft power. Roads, railways, ports, and bridges have long been at the center of geopolitical competition. In the coming years, expressions of soft power in strategically important regions are turning digital. In October, Japan, Australia, and the US agreed to finance a combined $30 million to build a spur from a trans-Pacific fiber optic cable to the tiny island nation of Palau. The project, which would increase data speeds in the country, had an unstated, but obvious objective: to counter the growing influence of China in the South Pacific. Physical infrastructure has often been at the center of geopolitical competition. The developing world is replete with roads, railways, and ports that bear the name of the donors. China's Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to build transport links from China to Southeast Asia and Central Europe, is remarkable for its scale, but the concept isn't new. In the coming years, the focus is likely to shift from concrete to cables. Providing the technological backbone for Asian and African countries' digital economies will give national champion companies access to huge new markets, and would-be hegemons' influence over strategically important regions. It could, as in Palau, give underserved regions access to vital tech, but it could also crystallize the ideological differences between global superpowers, creating new inequalities in human rights, free expression, and access to information. Number 1. Contact tracing apps set an uneasy precedent. Never before have we seen governments collect personal information from citizens en masse at such a rapid speed. While some built contact tracing apps on their own, others partnered with tech companies. The infrastructure will remain post-pandemic. Within the first 2 weeks of its being introduced, India's contact tracing app, Arogya Setu, gained 50 million new users, a milestone it reached faster than Pokemon Go. Most contact tracing apps use Bluetooth beacons, which use the proximity of people's phones to generate anonymous alerts. China's Alipay health code also tracks personal financial activity to see who is violating public health guidelines. In some countries, private companies develop the core of the official contact tracing apps. More than a dozen organizations took part in building out Estonia's. Uganda's was donated by a technology startup. Dozens of countries around the world use Apple and Google's API as the foundation of their tracing efforts. How these countries will ramp down information collection in the post-pandemic future remains to be seen. In a perfect world, they would kindly surrender their newfound insights into the private lives of their citizens once the need to contact trace recedes. That happens often, right? What do you think of this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.